been known to have a bar or two
Maybe.
lately.
Lately.
I mean,
He's got it.
That's what you call bars.
If that's what you call.
Oh shit! I think there's gonna be a rap battle going down a little bit. Throw down.
I mean, no. I feel like he's
Bro.
I don't know.
Feel like a plumber sleeping? Now that's a pipe dream.
I did like.
Are you serious?
You were in your bag. You were
Tired.
definitely in your bag.
J-Mike, that's a bar. That might be a white boy bar, but that's
No,
a
That
bar.
was
that's
off
a
the
bar.
dome. How dare you, J-Mike?
That's a bar. You're right. That's a bar. I can't hate that.
What's up, J-Mike? We're live. We're so extra live.
I mean, do you feel better after clearing your throat there?
Solid.
No, I don't. To be clear, no, I do not. Do I feel better that I am here with my dude and my friends for the week? Yes, I do feel better about that. It is the open bar, and we're so live. It is a bit past when we usually go live, 9:30 Eastern. It's whatever. It's the
neighborhood.
second Tuesday of the month. Look, if you know our schedule, which you should, because you're following us, you listen to us, we're popular, we're a podcast out there amongst the fantasy community, and you know about us. And you know that every second Tuesday of the month, it sounds like a every second Tuesday of the month, okay? Sounds like a book club or something. We start a little bit later, but we're here and we're having a good time so far. A little bit of off-air nonsense, and J-Mike, my dude, is here with me. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, man. We were talking beforehand. Murphy's out to get me, so I've got a kid, obviously with a fever, and so that's been fun today. And then what's really weird is that my fridge keeps making really strange noises and like knocking around, and so my freezer is working, but the fridge I found has stopped working, and so the things inside the refrigerator for some reason are not cold, but the freezer is still working great. So it's awesome.
You have one job, fridge.
You got one job to fully function, and not half of it, not half. So yeah, good times. But hey, week 15's right around the corner. A bunch of semifinals. The SFB conference finals, I believe, are here. It's going to be a wild weekend. I'm excited. Saturday football, colleges taking the back seat. Like, let's go.
I'm ready.
Well, you're excited.
Just a little bit.
As you should be. The semifinals of some fantasy football leagues are here, and I am certainly a part of not enough of those.
Maybe our friends are, hopefully.
Maybe our friends are. That's called a segue for you podcasters out there. We have 3 of those guests tonight. 2 returning. 1 is actually, we don't know the face behind this person. Could be a returning person and just under a different Twitter handle.
Burners.
Possible. Burners are real. But the first person I'm going to introduce is, of course, the first lady of the open bar, Casey Kasem.
That's me.
All hail.
Hello.
All hail.
She needs her own theme song, I feel.
I really do.
100.
You got to get on that.
We need to change the intro anytime a lady is on, and especially a special one for the first lady.
The first lady.
I do like that. How you doing, Casey?
I'm very nice.
Yeah?
With the wine in my system, life is good.
Is it box wine tonight?
It is. It is box wine, black box. We got it going on. Some Pinot Grigio. That's how I roll.
You slapping the bag?
Yeah, I'm on my second bag. I had to slap the first one. Second one is waiting.
Have y'all ever done that? You ever done that?
Yes.
Slap the
He
bag?
hasn't slapped the bag.
J-Mike.
J-Mike slapped the bag a couple of times. In his day.
Wait, didn't we do that together, Jim?
Oh man.
No, we didn't do that. Okay.
No?
Well, you kids look that one up. Well, Casey's out here slapping the bag. What your fighting chance fantasy? You've done a lot of since you've last been on. You've been on a lot of pods.
Yeah, I got on this pod kick for a while, drug addict, but for podcasts.
Sure.
Yeah. So I did that. Don't know how to do my own, so I was like, I'll just jump on a bunch of other ones. It's pretty cool. But you guys are the number one in my hearts.
Oh,
Ayo.
I didn't know it was gonna get like
That's
this.
what a first lady should say.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have you
That's my
back,
number one
especially
dudes.
with all the life that you've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Between getting engaged and traveling and jumping into the podcast game, jumping into the writing game, podcasting with other ladies. Like you have really been just killing the game, and
The round
you're
table.
joining the dynasty. You're joining the dynasty community as well now.
I am joining the Dynasty community, but I don't think I'm going to stick with the Dynasty league that I'm in this year.
Oh,
but
wow.
I'm going to be in a couple
Already
next
too
year.
good. She's like, this
Oh
is
no, it's not bad. But I'm going to get in some leagues with people I actually know. I think just kind of this was a good jump into it all, but set it up for the next person who takes over for me and get into some other leagues with people I know, and it'll be fun.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Leagues
bird.
matter. What's up?
Dude, are you even J Mike, how much do we have to get? How much did we have to collect to get this dude? I'm just nervous talking to an Academy Award winning,
Television Academy, but okay, yeah, sure.
I mean,
of sorts.
listen,
we're
the
we're all
GoFundMe
That's
link.
something.
the
I mean,
GoFundMe link
two-time
is
Emmy
real.
Award-winning producer. Is that what you're trying to spit out there?
There you go.
I don't
Look,
know.
I'll
what
say
the
it for
fuck I'm
you.
trying to say.
The GoFundMe link is real. It's live. Having Berg on is not a small feat. So yes, please donate. Just kidding. There's no GoFundMe link. What's up, Berg?
I am very excited to be here. This is honestly one of my favorite podcasts. Two of my favorite people host it. You guys, I'm in a couple leagues with J Mike. I'm obsessed with fantasy football, like all the other junkies here tonight. And I'm in my fair share of semis. So I'm very excited for this weekend, very excited to talk, figure out my lineups. That's why I'm here. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I picked out the date to show up for a reason. But yeah, I do produce television. I also write for Dynasty Happy Hour occasionally, but I'd like to give them a big shout out. Tyler Gunther, great guy.
We like them.
Yeah.
Top gun.
I have a Netflix series that's going to premiere on December 27th, I believe. Murder Mountain, little peek inside Humboldt County. So it's a fun project I worked on over the summer. And then in the spring, come April, United Shades of America.
Shades.
We'll be back on CNN. So we got another run for you. It'll be good.
Love it. Love it. We need to get you on Hard Knocks, all or nothing.
I want to be on Hard Knocks.
Or the what's the Netflix one? Last Chance U. We just need you on football something. So
I know. I that's where I want to be. So
when you don't come on the pod anymore, you can be like, that guy was here at least 2 times, 3 times, 4 times.
I do know people that worked on the is it QB1 show, the Peter Berg
That was
thing.
actually pretty good. Beyond the Lights. I like that.
That's good.
Yeah. So maybe that's a possibility.
Well, we can only hope, my dude. Devin, you are a newcomer. I want to see your beautiful face, but in the event that I don't, I don't mind looking at the dog smoking the thing. I don't think it's exactly healthy, but I do appreciate the picture. What's up, man? How are you?
I'm pretty good. Thanks for having me on here.
Absolutely. And you're a RotoViz dude, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you're just going to blow us away with all sorts of things.
I don't know about that, but maybe we'll see how it goes.
This is no time to be humble and modest, Devin. Come on now.
Look, I've tried to argue with RotoViz before, and it's not fun. I'm just going to turn off my notifications after a couple hours. Fuck, they won again.
Yeah, it's
I'm
on
excited to be here with Devin. It's one of my favorite follows now that I follow him now. And he's a great RotoViz guy.
Yeah, I've been there for, I guess I've been contributing there a couple of years. I've been writing a column, an in-season column on trades the last couple of years, talking trades. But yeah, it's going good. We've got some our like bowl preview series coming up, so there'll be a lot of good stuff over there for people who read RotoViz.
It's about to get real as far as all the rookies coming in. I mean, there's going to be a lot, so much content. I mean, people tripping over the bowl games, and then people tripping over the interviews or whatever declarations that they're making. You know, things are going to happen, and it's going to get crazy. So, happy that you can follow all of that, my man.
Yeah, I'm not a huge college football guy, so I already am getting nervous. Like I can already tell I'm like falling behind, and it's like not even the new year yet.
There's a lot of guys skipping bowl games, or at least I guess not a huge amount. It seems like there were more in the past couple years. Who are a couple that are skipping this year? I already forget.
I feel like the big one was the QB out of West Virginia, Will Greer.
Sure,
I think that was the one that was
yeah.
kind of unprecedented for a quarterback to do it.
That is odd for a quarterback to do that. I agree. But when do our bowl games start? When do our bowl games start?
I think like in the next couple of days. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
One of the interesting things about the Will Greer thing, though, if we can just touch on that for a quick second, obviously Will Greer going to the league, going to be a guy who's likely to get drafted. I think a lot of people like him. The thing is, though, kind of with that debate of, hey, do you leave college early to start prepping and, you know, keep from getting hurt like your Jalen Smiths or your Jake Butts? You know, the thing with being quarterback is like so many people are dependent upon you to do well, right? So if he doesn't play and then the backup is trash, like, hey, you're hurting me in a major way as the quarterback. I'm all for the players doing their own thing. As a former collegiate football player, it kind of messes with me a little bit, specifically it being the quarterback, just because they're always the face of everything. So I find this one very interesting to have to deal with, because again, if the backup comes in and he's garbage, and I'm a wide receiver who's wanting to get one more I don't know, piece of game tape to show what I can do. Like I don't want second best to give me those targets. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I feel like anyone who considers himself draft worthy is probably skipping, and then the guys like you're talking about who are looking for that little extra piece of film to maybe push them over the edge. Yeah, they could rub them the right way, but let's be honest. A lot of these are trash bowl games, and they're just excuses.
The Kmart Bowl.
They're excuses for some of these guys to go out and be with their teammates and have fun one last time. I mean, there's plenty of things to expose yourself to the NFL scouts other than your bowl game.
Sports Authority, where you been? Field Bowl.
I was like, oh, there's a football game on.
I love the bowl. I love the bowl names.
Yeah, right? Like, is this real life? Tampax Tournament of Champions.
The Tampax Bowl is one of my favorite bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you hold that, bro. That's all you play, boy.
You ride with that one.
Speaking of
and first, the Texas Red Raiders.
Oh shit! I love it. Oh damn.
Nope, not doing it.
No,
not
okay.
No.
J-Mike's trying to get us the fuck out of here. I'm like,
no. We gotta go. All right. Speaking of Sports Authority Field, where you been, Bowl? We've got Saturday football coming up this week. Obviously, a couple games coming up, starting with Cleveland and Denver. Not that we've got to go game by game, because it's definitely not how we do here. But I do think this is a super interesting matchup of teams. And Berg, you're all about setting your lineup.
Yes.
Cortland Sutton has been extra doo-doo butter the last couple weeks.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Oh. It's true.
I just and then here you go, and then Deshaun Hamilton comes out, and obviously 7 catches to come out. I love Deshaun. I've always been a big fan of Deshaun. But obviously, what are we doing with the guys in Denver? Because I feel like that's something that's important. Because all of a sudden, it's Case Keenum and rookies everywhere.
Yeah.
That's weird. And
I would love to hear the RotoViz guy talk about this.
I mean, it's like at this point in the season, if you're still in it and you need one of the Denver guys, like I don't know what happened to your team, but
I'm in it, and I have a Denver guy.
And
Deshaun Hamilton in there right
you could have
Really?
an AJ
Okay.
Green or an OBJ out.
I mean,
shooting
yeah.
Deshaun, maybe,
So
something like that.
injuries were, bit of an issue there. Emmanuel Sanders.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, there's so much opportunity there that you'd think that, somebody would do something, but suddenly seemed like a trap play to me. I mean, it's not, you're just not relying on the Broncos to put up enough points that you feel good about one of those guys getting a touchdown, and they're just getting a look at all of them. So no one of those guys is going to get, 12 targets on a reliable basis. And it was Tim Patrick. He was led the team. I mean, you roll with who you have, I guess, but I don't think you can have any confidence that any of those guys are going to be the guy.
Sutton got dinged up too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Deshaun. I mean, look, we all know Keenum. He fed Sanders. Deshaun is in the Sanders role, right? So, I mean, you don't want to do a straight equation on that one because obviously Emmanuel Sanders is a veteran player, knows how to get open, knows how to get points. But I mean, at this point in the season, I think he would lean Deshaun out of all those guys.
You have to.
Yeah, I think so. And definitely if Sutton is actually hurt, I mean, if he's going to actually be limited in some way, I guess you could put Hamilton over maybe similar types of slot guys on other teams that you don't think are gonna do that much. I mean, but if you have somebody like Dante Pettis, don't you feel tempted to start him over Hamilton?
A guy who's balling out.
Yes. We talked about Dante last week.
Yeah, he's in some leagues he's probably still available. I mean,
let me ask this from a dynasty perspective, specifically with Sutton and Hamilton. Obviously, we're finding that it's their show now. Does this, like them playing now and them playing with Case Keenum and obviously Phillip Lindsay in the backfield, does this group excite you moving forward?
Yeah.
Like, man, I really need a piece of Denver's offense. Is it a group that inspires confidence in that manner? So beyond this season, just going forward.
Yeah. Get me a quarterback. I think it'll excite me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they do. I think the pieces are there, but I like Keenum, but I think he's obviously a temporary solution. I think he's there to, win games ish now if he can. But I don't think he's the future of that franchise. I think, once they get someone who's the clear franchise QB and they're there every week moving forward, developing that chemistry, they have, a full off season with that quarterback, then you can get really excited. But I remember earlier this year when Demaryius Thomas got traded and everyone was like, fire up Sutton. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I mean,
Sometimes you have to.
I mean, yeah, I want to fire up Sutton. I love him too. I think he's great. But I think that ceiling is a little bit capped with Keenum at the quarterback, especially because, like I said before, he seemed to just feed Emmanuel Sanders. So it wasn't like Emmanuel Sanders was traded. But I think until that QB situation is locked in place for what would be foreseeable the next 5 to 10 years if they had a franchise QB. Until that's the case, then I think you have to temper your expectations, but they do have a lot of young, exciting players. So it's a yes and a no for me.
Are you just concerned about what exactly they could acquire in terms of QB? Because, I mean, we've talked a little bit about what free agent QBs are available in 2019, and it is not so good.
No.
And neither is the QB class that, allegedly for 2019. And you know, everyone's kind of seems to be waiting on, what's his name? Herbert. Why does that sound so corny? Herbert?
Because he's a 6'6" quarterback.
Herbert. Hey guys, my name's
Herbert.
And I like Sherbert.
The Herbert Sherbert.
But yeah.
Shout out to the Oregon Ducks. But it seems like that the QB class will only get a little bit better in the coming years as far as free agency and in the NFL draft. So are you just concerned about in the short-sighted future that they're not going to be able to succeed?
I mean, yeah, I would. I mean, yes, I would say next season and even the season after that. But as playing a dynasty, I think, those guys maybe are a little bit exposed right now in terms of excitement. I think especially Philip Lindsay is pretty hot to trot right now, if you will.
We're not
in terms of value. But he, Keenum back there next year, they tank early on. All those guys are going to tank in value. So, I don't know. I mean, I guess you could buy in. It could be a buy-in situation, but I think they're going to be pretty volatile over the next season, especially if Keenum is there. So it's just when you want to buy in, that's what you got to ask yourself.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Berg, I think that we brought this up in the Kamikaze chat, which I'm curious to kind of bring this up in the larger discussion. Gabe, if we've talked about this on the show before, just shut me up now. Or at least lately anyway. If we're re-ranking the 2018 wide receivers, where does Cortland Sutton land for you guys? I guess Berg specifically for you, because it sounds like you may be the most down on him above us all. Gabe, you don't have to answer this. I know where you. I'm not gonna bust your Sutton.
I mean, I back when we were talking about it, realistically, I had DJ Moore right there with Sutton. I think that it was kind of a 1A, 1B situation, and I think that's kind of what it is right now. Sorry to jump in and say that, but I think it is.
No, that's good. I'm just curious now because I feel like Cortland Sutton was at or near the top of everybody's rookie 2018 wide receivers. To remind everyone who you may not be thinking of, obviously Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Cortland Sutton, Christian Kirk, Anthony Miller, James Washington, Gallup, Pettis, Tre'Quan Smith, all those guys we've seen this season, except for James Washington, who's been kind of nowhere to be found. But anyway, how do you guys rank those maybe first 5-ish guys or 3 guys? Who's at the top for you guys now, with Sutton's outlook, I guess, being one of the least rosy of the group?
I feel like I've kind of dominated the conversation, so I'll defer to someone else right now.
Oh, looks like that didn't.
Oh, quiet.
All right, well, I'll just go. Here's what I would DJ Moore to me has essentially lived up to the hype. He hasn't had quite the OBJ breakout, but he has been pretty phenomenal and had big pop weeks. Yeah. I would say Christian Kirk for me has flashed and shown what he could do, and I think an offseason with him and Rosen together, working on that time and that consistency and just being, in an offseason program together as second-year guys, I think for me, I think I think the Cardinals are a very buy low situation. I think all their pieces could explode next year, especially if a regime change comes to fruition. Sutton is someone who I was all about in August and September. He looked phenomenal in the preseason. He looked, great in the short usage he was getting early on in the season too, but he hasn't had that breakout game, that big pop game. And that is a little concerning for me, especially with smart people still questioning his ability to catch the ball consistently. And, I think physically and as a talent, he's there. But until we see that, until we see a monster week from him, I have a question.
Very interesting.
Right on.
I mean,
I
sorry, go ahead, Case.
well, I was gonna say I like DJ Moore too. Just Cam Newton hasn't been Cam Newton this year, and injuries here and injuries there doesn't really equate to the best that we can get from DJ Moore. And as for Michael Gallup, being a Cowboys fan, I just feel like the last couple of weeks he's been pretty solid. Dak and Gallup just haven't been on the same page. He's open, but Dak can get the ball to him. And so when he can get the ball to him, he'll be a viable wide receiver too, But right now, they're not on the same page, so...
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of deep thinking about Michael Gallup, actually, because I 100% agree with you. I watched.
Tell us more about your deep thinking on.
He's wide open all the time.
He
and
is.
Get it to him, and it's like, is that to me? The question is, will that change? And quite frankly, I don't know. I mean,
not with the coaching staff. I think with what's going on right now. It doesn't.
We the open bar are also concerned about Michael Gallup because of the man Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
And we're not entirely sure that the offense can, or not necessarily Dak. I think Dak could, but I don't think the offense that they're running is going to support two top 24 wide receivers along with Zeke getting 300 touches a year
and passes and all the passes he's getting right now.
Exactly.
Yeah,
he's getting.
So
he's the wide receiver too.
You see the report coming out with Cooper and him being upset with Dak initially that he was going to run a certain play, and then Dak gave him the eyes to run the go instead, like a hitch and go instead, and he's like, okay, Dak, but and basically going against what the coach is saying to do. You'd hope that could happen more often, but that's just not going to happen more often, frankly. So ultimately, I think Dak is fine as a quarterback, but cannot support at this juncture with the coaching regime. I mean, and I don't think they can support top 24. I love Michael Gallup though, and we'll see what happens with Cooper and any sort of contract that they might offer him in Dallas. But
probably a solid best ball value next gen.
Gallup for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not going to be. Look, I think what you're encouraged about with Gallup is he's never going to get the volume, and the plays that he's going to succeed on are not volume plays. So he's a big play guy. He's getting that deep ball, chunk yarding it out. I don't know. What do you think, Devin?
Yeah, it does. All those things you said sound like exactly what you want in a wide receiver.
Yeah,
really not the volume's not going to be there. His quarterback can't hit him on the deep ball.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, you're right though. He's gonna. I mean, it's a little speculative, but come best ball season, he's probably going to be a little cheaper than he should, because definitely the narrative is that this offense is Amari now, Zeke now, and they're not going to have an offensive explosion. But you never know. I mean, they could get a new coordinator. Scott Linehan has not exactly been, he's not the guy that I think Jerry Jones has his guys, and he doesn't want to look bad. I don't think he's going to feel bad about getting rid of Scott Linehan. That's not going to embarrass him. So you never know. I mean, if the team suddenly is really good, you're going to want those Cowboys. I mean, we had that happen on the Rams this year where, everyone was like, there's too many guys. So, Woods, Cooks, all those guys fell. And the reality was you just wanted all of them. And, none of them were, you could get a lot of them in like the 5th, 6th round.
Now, Devin, you just said is this a case where you're either living in LA or you are a Rams fan, or you live in St. Louis and you just believe the team never left ever?
Yeah, no, neither. I just, as the just the fantasy community, I guess.
Oh, okay, got you. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I was just checking.
We.
Thanks for including me, man. I appreciate that.
It's an inclusive group.
Yeah.
So, golly, the chat, man, Gabe, the
Yeah?
chat that you don't believe in is just.
Will you send me a link? Send me.
Bro.
Why can't I feel like I have the group chat here. Why can't I
I'm
see
all up in there.
It is
Hey guys,
live.
hey guys in the chat, how you doing?
It
I
is
love you.
live.
Send me a link. Let me see. I'll
I love
interact with the
everybody in there.
chat.
They're so great.
I'm not
I'll
too good for the chat. I just don't think it's there.
It's real.
Okay.
They're all
so
really rad dudes. So
I'm just gonna
Like I'm
screenshot
all
it for
about
you.
my Twitter questions. I have my Twitter question on the show.
Yeah,
but
tonight,
say-
Berg, so
yeah.
The walking Twitter question is already on the show. So here's the chat, Gabe.
Oh, see, look at that.
Everybody, if
That's a
obviously
real
if
thing.
you can see my screen here,
that's
this
a
is
busy night for you, J Mike. That's a lot of
Bro.
burner accounts, pal.
a lot of spam bots, a lot of cleavage in the chat. It's kind of crazy. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, whoa, I like that.
Scandalous.
Hello.
But shout out to everybody in the chat. I feel like there's too many to name, but all of our friends
What's up,
of late are
guys?
here.
Tyler,
what-
Derek. Oh yeah,
Derek,
names I
Tyler,
recognize.
you know. Brandon's
fantastic.
in there.
Because I always shout everyone out, I feel like I always got to do it. So going to the top. So first was Top Gunth. What up, Gunth? Brandon Rojas was in the building, obviously. D-Bro, what up, D-Bro?
All the good guys.
For sure. Zach from the Dummies is in the building. Jake Anderson, the executive producer. Chris Allen's in the building. Spoonie's here. Svoboda's here.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Svoboda.
it's lit.
I play
Jesse
Spo in that
Reeves.
league.
Yes.
J-Mike.
Yes, that's a big deal. Because
I'm
today was
excited
college.
to play him.
Well, speaking of John Bosch leagues, which we were talking about beforehand, in
No,
Kamikaze, we have obviously call out weekend for the number 1 seed. So if you're the top seed, you get to choose of the 3 remaining teams who you get to play, and that was by 2 p.m. today. So Tyler Barons, what up, Tyler? Tyler actually chose to take on
a Tyler.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, a Tyler we don't
So
know.
many fucking
so
Tyler.
many Tyler.
You guys got
Oh.
Then I don't
Tyler
know about
episodes.
this one.
Stephanie Fuller, Mrs. Fuller, what's cracking? I forgot. Hey Stephanie, I heart you.
Stephanie.
Is she? How is she in our LFO league? Is she in? Because she's
She's badass, like right.
always
We all suck
wins.
dick and she's right
She's
there.
always winning. Is she in the?
I think so.
semifinal right now? The
Yeah.
championship?
She stays winning. It doesn't matter.
It
She's just
doesn't
a winner.
matter. You're
All she
right.
does
You know
is
what?
win.
That's a good point.
She
That's a good
stays
point.
winning. Stompy, what up? I don't even remember the point I was making.
Damn.
Oh yeah, Tyler, call out day. So Tyler called out Bosch, which means that you, Berg, have Svoboda. I don't know if Svoboda is still in here, but that's a pretty rad matchup of you guys.
Yeah,
obviously-
he has a very solid team.
Yeah, you both have just titans of roster, so that'll be cool. Speaking of titans of rosters, what? Huh? What?
Stud. Sorry, I'm just interrupting and bragging about Stephanie.
Oh, and how I lost
She had a
because
bye.
I had Kirk Cousins and he sucked some major. Yeah, CK.
Whoa.
Hey, I slowed it down because I don't, I'm a proper lady.
Derek, what up, Derek? The FFRX on Twitter.
Hey.
So real quick, there's another game that I wanted to get to from last week to kind of launch us forward because I feel like this was such an interesting watch. Did any of you guys watch? And you probably didn't because you probably would have wanted to peel your eyes out of your face. Anybody watch Bills versus Jets?
No, in fact, I texted my friends that Red Zone was showing that game too much. I mean,
Well,
go ahead.
Did you happen to catch it?
No, I caught a little bit on Red Zone.
The reason I found this game so intriguing was because obviously 2 highly touted rookie quarterbacks, right? Josh Allen, Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And they were both so freaking bad. They were both so bad. It was funny because Josh Allen came out and you saw so many good things on that first drive. They come down, they score. And it looks like they're about to get it rolling, right? Darnold struggling. Then they both just start trading just awful turnovers. It's kind of weird. But then in the fourth quarter, Darnold just kind of took over and he was hitting everybody on that final 2 drives. It was just really interesting to watch, like the highs of both of those guys and the lows. So that being said, with now that we've seen that Josh Allen can actually be competent on an NFL football field,
Yeah, for sure.
What do you guys think is the ceiling for one Josh Allen? I'm just curious.
Oh,
Yes, let's talk about it, Gabe.
Devin, I feel like this is a Devin question.
I mean, the ceiling. Look, I mean, in any given week, the ceiling is high.
Yeah,
he can run for like 200 yards in a game. Like
the floor is like,
but he's
the ceiling.
You know, he can get benched in any season going forward. So I mean, if we're talking like dynasty, you know, he's a lot like Tyrod. You know, you have no idea, you know, if he's going to be the franchise guy. There's plenty of reasons to think he won't, just because, you know, like
He's been bad.
He's been mostly running.
Fun.
But, you know, he's shown enough that it's like, I mean, I think he's going to be the quarterback next year. So that's good. Like, I think he'll be undervalued because he's such a punchline. And he's a guy that's going to add, you know, 5 to 10 points running a lot of the time. And that's huge for a quarterback. So, you know, I think people don't like owning quarterbacks that they perceive to not be good real life quarterbacks for fantasy. And so those guys are almost always too cheap, and he'll be too cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
that's exactly what I was about to get into.
No,
Is
for
I
real.
think less a Tyrod Taylor, because I've never really minded Tyrod Taylor as a quarterback. I think he's better than both Josh Allen and the guy I'm about to say, who I think is more similar to Josh Allen, in our homeboy J. Mike, Blake Bortles.
But
Josh Allen's got certain, you know, a much better arm, but I think he makes bad decisions like Bortles does, possibly worse. He does some weird stuff.
He goes, like, he can't complete passes, but he can run 100 yards a game, you know, like.
And so, you
the
know,
last 3 weeks,
and that's
I mean,
what Bortles did too. Yeah, he had big rushing in the last, not so much this year it seemed, but in the last couple of years he started rushing the ball quite a bit, and especially the Bills going to be from behind. Yeah. It's like you
just don't watch the game.
You need a Blake Bortles every year, and I think Josh Allen's going to be your Blake Bortles for the next few years, Buffalo. So you enjoy that 1 year where
y'all go to the
everybody's comparison championship
of Josh Allen
leading Tom Brady going in. Tom Brady's 45 years old, and you're leading Tom Brady into the fourth quarter with Josh Allen, and
his Walker.
Shout to D-Bro. D-Bro said Bortles is going to be a Bronco next year.
Oh. One can only hope.
God, can you even imagine
our Bronco conversation goes away?
My brain just exploded.
You want to take Sutton and Hamilton over the top? Bring in Blake Bortles.
Oh my God!
For fantasy purposes, your life is going to be complete. I think.
Cortland Sutton, the new Allen Robinson. Let's go.
Boom.
There's a good guy to talk about.
Yes.
Allen Robinson.
Oh my gosh.
Is it a good guy to talk about?
He is, like, because to me he's mystifying. Because in theory, that, you know, the buzz is Chicago is a fiery offense, right? I mean, they're just putting up numbers.
No,
but Allen Robinson, as good as the asset, has not been that great. I mean, what do you think about? What do you think about him as a dynasty asset moving forward? I mean, is he gonna be the player he was, or is this? Have we seen what it's gonna be like for Allen Robinson?
I think we've talked about it a little bit before, but I'll say it again. Just that going in as a going to a new team as a wide receiver, that transfer year is not usually that great, and it usually will take about a year to jump back into the swing of things and develop, and especially coming off of an injury. So I'm not ready to say goodbye to Allen. I know your boy Anthony Miller's there, but like we talked about Dak Prescott, you know, having 2 top 24 wide receivers, and that's certainly more possible than Mitchell Trubisky, I think. So
it's very similar.
It is pretty similar, but I still think Dak is just ahead of Mitchell Trubisky.
No, he's like Trubisky is a poor man's Dak Prescott.
Exactly. So I think that we shouldn't be giving up quite yet on Allen Robinson. And yes, Anthony Miller's great there as a, a complimentary piece to Allen Robinson. J. Mike, would you say complimentary? Just kind of there, good NFL player, has his games up and down. But Allen Robinson's the dude, right?
Right.
Right?
You would almost.
I will not engage you in such nonsensical.
I feel like the first
tomfoolery.
time I was on this podcast, you guys were like on Allen Robinson's nuts so hard.
No,
Oh, we're total hypocrites.
yeah, we're
Wow, how the nuts have fallen.
yeah. I'm not gonna engage you in such things as calling Anthony Miller just a guy. So I'm gonna pivot, and what we're gonna do a quick check of the old ADP here.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
Oh,
let's not.
You guys
we
need
won't
like a
We talking
soundboard.
about Allen Robinson or Anthony Miller?
No, for Allen
You're gonna-
Robinson.
You're gonna have to start pretty low with Anthony Miller, but
Yeah, I would love to know Allen Robinson ADP. That's actually a great call, J. Mike.
I'm on the first flight to Austin. And I'm picking your teeth in, Gabe. Oh my gosh. All right, quick one. Allen Robinson is currently, according to December DLF ADP. Allen Robinson is wide receiver 27, which is good for about 50. Sorry, go ahead.
Wide receiver 27.
December ADP, yes.
Ooh.
2 spots in front of him are Tyler Boyd, Sammy Watkins. 2 spots
Sammy
behind
Watkins.
Tyler Lockett, Chris Godwin. So he's in pretty low air.
weird territory.
That is
Yeah,
weird.
it's very weird. Let's
Tyler
try to,
Lockett, who's the other guy?
That's the region where you have
Chris
to
Godwin.
start knowing a guy that you want to plant your flag on. You're like, it is Godwin in 2019.
Godwin season.
You know, like,
Feel like
it's
the
that
last-
range of guys that can certainly jump up into that top 15 range of ADP, or as far as a season, a top 10 season. That's like that range right there.
Yeah.
I feel like the last 3 minutes have revealed by Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
This is
That's
probably
what it sounds like.
a good window for him. And the fact that he's 27, I was not expecting him to be this low. But this is interesting. So let's run it back real fast, and we'll try to get through several names because I feel like this is a pretty intriguing group.
25 years old.
Yeah, he's 25. 25. First year. This is the first year after the ACL, right? Okay, great. Let's go here. Cortland Sutton or Allen Robinson.
Oh, you dirty dog.
No.
Mm-hmm.
They're not the
Hey,
same.
Allen Robinson.
Yeah, Allen Robinson.
Okay.
I'll go Allen Robinson's by a little bit.
Let's see that love, Gabe. What you got? You gonna sweep it for Allen?
Yeah, I think so. I'm a very barely.
Okay. We'll move up the list just a tad bit. Cooper Kupp or Allen Robinson?
Shit.
Well,
Cooper
fuck,
Kupp.
I know my answer.
Cup.
Oh, Devin Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Cup. I'll go Cup soon.
I gotta go Allen Robinson still. I don't know. I mean, I'm wearing the Rams hat.
Blasphemer.
They gotta throw the ball to Gerald Everett more moving forward.
I mean, one can
I've
only
been telling
hope.
myself that.
Tight
Gabe,
end
what you got?
graveyard.
You
Tight
know
end
who I,
graveyard's right.
you know
Thank
who
you.
I have, J. Mike. Shut, stop it.
Wonderful. Moving Corey Davis or Allen Robinson?
Oh, that's tough. That is a tough one.
Yeah, it's
I'm
real
gonna-
similar. I think those two teams are similar in
I
that
know.
I'm gonna go
everyone
Robinson.
thinks- people think they could make the leap, but it really hasn't been there. Even the Bears, I mean, Dave, it's like what you were saying. They seem like they're doing better than they are in terms
Yes.
of the box score for fantasy. So
Except for Tariq Cohen, yes.
yeah. I mean, the question is, does Trubisky continue to get better, and then does he start actually throwing the ball downfield successfully? And if that happens, Robinson will be really good. But if they can win games doing what they're doing right now, it may just be the same for a while. Corey Davis, it's like more like it's a much wider range of possibilities. Like they could just be bad, and he could just not be that great, too. But I think it's easier path to see him dominating that offense in some form than Allen Robinson right now. So I guess I would lean Corey Davis. I mean, I feel like there's going to be Corey Davis believers if he does anything for like the next half a year to a year. Whereas
Damn right I will.
Devin, I'm so glad you brought that up because, and shout out to a friend of ours, a friend of the show, and just a all around cool dude, Shane Manila, from BFF. He, Shane had talked about on their podcast, Dynasty Trades HQ. He talked about how, and he just touched on it, and then I kind of expounded on it a little bit on the Blitz. But he talked about how, with Amari Cooper's breakout to this point, like I feel like Corey Davis is like, if we're looking for the next per se, Corey Davis kind of fits the mold of this guy who's ultra talented, just draft capital out the wazoo, someone who's incredibly competent as a player and doesn't necessarily get the consistent targets or work that you'd hope for, that obviously with a flip of a switch or a flip of a team or a flip of a situation, somehow like it could get really good really fast. Right.
He needs to change the scenery. Yeah.
I mean, Cooper had way more production, and there's one thing I learned since the last 2 years, since I've really taken a deep dive into fantasy, is production matters. Corey Davis has had some production. He's had some big weeks. He's popped. Don't get me wrong, but Cooper had. I mean, actually, I would love to see their numbers. Maybe I'm just talking out my ass, but it feels like Cooper had more production than Corey Davis.
I think Cooper had that one really good year. I think outside of that, it was kind of inconsistent. But yes, I think you're like, he at least had the 1 year. Whereas what?
Are we talking about Cooper versus Davis in their first 2 years?
Yeah.
No, I think just from a consistency standpoint. So like Corey Davis, I mean, he barely played year one, right?
Yes, he was hurt.
This is year two.
Yeah.
And so
Weird
I think
year.
that like Cooper's year two.
And Davis is like a fringe wide receiver 3. I mean, Cooper's been a very consistent wide receiver 2.
Yeah. All right, good.
I just find it interesting, their parallels in terms of
I do think they're very similar though. I don't know why.
I mean,
in terms of production, I don't know why. I always fall back on that. I think they're just very similar players, and I think that they were in very similar situations. And now they, Cooper benefited from moving. Can Davis do that? What are we going to wait a couple years, 2, 3 years for that to happen? Maybe. Or are things going to turn around? But in terms of just the player and comparing them, I think it's completely fair. We could be looking at Davis having 2 top 24 seasons at this point. He hasn't, obviously, but I don't know. We're just speculating here, but I feel that he very well could have had that as well.
Yeah, he feels like the type of player that should have had.
He has the tools to do that. Yeah.
I've got one last name I want to get to, guys, just because I'm curious of your thoughts, because this guy's kind of cooled off a little bit. And this is the top of the list. I think that I'm safe enough to go to ask Allen Robinson and maybe get some different answers. Allen Robinson, Kenny Galladay.
Ooh.
Galladay.
And real quick, Corey Davis. Corey Davis is wide receiver.
What planet
16.
are we on?
Right.
Just listen. Corey Davis is wide receiver 16 in December in December ADP. So that's 11 spots higher than Allen Robinson, mind you. And
Corey Davis is 11 spots higher than Allen Robinson.
Corey Davis
11 spots higher. I'm just throwing it out there.
That's on the wide receivers only.
Just wide receivers for December. And Kenny Galladay is at 14, so that will be 13 spots between Kenny Galladay and Allen Robinson. So what are your thoughts there?
Devin?
Galladay. But I'm higher on Galladay than a lot of people. But to me, I'm actually weirdly like lower on Detroit than a lot of people. People act like Detroit is a good offense, and they don't, and they act like Jim Bob Cooter was ever good, and he wasn't. But Galladay is he is the prototypical wide receiver 1. He can, I think more so than Allen Robinson, he's even more of a like contested catch guy, and I think Galladay's a better run after the catch guy. You know, he's more physical than Allen Robinson is. Corey Davis could be that guy, but we just haven't seen it at all. And we don't know what's going on there with the quarterback situation. We don't know what's going on there with the coaching staff, exactly what kind of team they want to be, but you're nervous that they're going to try to be more defensive. Mm-hmm. You know, the Lions theoretically could put together a better offense, and Matthew Stafford is going to be there. So it's a stable situation. He's not the best quarterback in the NFL, but he's fine, and he can absolutely support, you know, like a very, very serious wide receiver one. So for those reasons, I'm more excited about Galladay's situation.
And that's the problem, is that Stafford has been one of those guys, like in redraft, people were like, you can drop Stafford right now. And as somebody, yeah, you can. And as somebody who picked up, you know, traded Galladay at the beginning, you know, for Galladay at the beginning of the year, it was looking up. And then now we're in the, you know, going into the playoffs or whatever, we went to the playoffs, and you have Galladay, and you're like, can I trust the Stafford to Galladay connection?
Yeah, right now it's not trustworthy at all. I mean, I mean, I have him in a potential lineup this weekend. It's very scary. It's a bad matchup, you know.
It is horrible, but there's not much you can do because you put all your chips on Kenny Galladay being the guy this year.
I just think the offense was so much better in the last few years for Stafford too. And
it has been.
Like, he's really just dependent on Galladay at this point. Kerryon Johnson's been great, you know, and probably I don't have the splits with me, but RotoViz, where you at with Galladay and Galladay in game and Kerryon Johnson? I don't know. I feel like around that time that they were kind of coinciding and having a lot of fantasy points scored.
Yeah.
And just with production in the offense in general, you know, Marvin Jones there, and between the Golden Tate trade, I'm not entirely sure. All that's kind of.
Ooh, you talk about a guy that's died, Marvin Jones.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. But the last few years, they had, you know, Golden Tate and Marvin Jones, and Theo Riddick was doing his thing, and they were trying to find a running back one. But I think, and you know, Eric Ebron was there. Maybe he was more of a decoy piece to distract for other players to succeed. I don't know. Eric Ebron's certainly better than the tight ends they have now. That's my point. So
much better, yeah.
I just think the offense was better than it was this year, and why Matthew Stafford has struggled this year, partly because of that. Why Kenny Galladay is struggling this year. It's his second year. He is a prototypical number one. I think he can be that, but is he ready? I don't know. By the way, who's younger, Allen Robinson or Kenny Galladay?
Well, the way you phrase that, it seems like a trap. This is a trap.
What are you going to tell me that? You're going to tell me that Allen Robinson is younger than Kenny Galladay? Is that what you're going to tell me?
Who's younger? I want.
What's up?
Come on.
You know what? I'm gonna say Kenny Galladay just for the fun of it.
Galladay's
Galladay has to be younger,
don't
right?
let Gabe try to bait you. Galladay's
They're basically the same age.
Yeah, they're probably 25.
Don't you do that,
guys? They're like 2 months.
Guys,
who's
younger?
That is so weird. That is so weird.
Well, I mean,
let's throw Funchess into the bunch, right?
Oh, Funchess.
I didn't know he was as young as he is.
Like 20 forever.
He's been a major disappointment. Even the Podfather, Matt Kelly, I believe. You can never tell with the social media, but he was number one Funchess supporter, and even he is trashing him now on social media. So that guy.
I don't know. Dynasty Outhouse almost, Russ almost got me convinced that I should have. But no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, sorry, Russ.
And Funchess was getting targets earlier. He was just not looking good. That was so disappointing. But
I think once they started recognizing what they had in DJ Moore, and also Funchess getting banged up at the same time, it just kind of was a poor transition.
Well, Cam's arm takes something into this.
And the emergence of Curtis Samuel. Let's not be
disrespectful here.
I think we can be disrespectful. What?
Oh, that's fast.
Play
I
Ian
agree.
Thomas this week, right? Play Ian Thomas this week.
I love how you just dropping those subliminals in there. Play Ian Thomas.
We're talking about Samuel. What are you talking about? I didn't say anything.
This actually, okay. Since we're talking about this, I want to pivot to this because Ian Thomas made me think of something. So, okay, so before the playoffs, I traded for Greg Olsen because of that game against the Browns, because I knew they'd just give it up to the tight end, right? And then when Olsen got hurt, I was like, you know what? I was like, that sucks. I was like, that was gonna be my guy, but I was like, I don't want to. Thomas was on waivers, and he was on waivers during the game. Like I could have picked him up at any time, but I didn't take that leap because I was like, it's Ian Thomas. I don't know that, but it translated to the same way, and like I regret my decision for not doing that. But I do think it's interesting that like some situations are just so obvious in fantasy, and yet we come up with our own arguments to convince ourselves the opposite. I don't know if you guys, what you guys think of that, but I do feel like many other people have had this situation before, where it's like, why? I mean, why didn't I think that like Ian Thomas?
Ian Thomas the first time around wasn't good though when he came in for Craig Olsen. So you were right on the money on that. He came in for Greg Olsen and he didn't look well. Yeah. Now that he's in for Greg Olsen the second time around, everybody's got high hopes for what can happen. So, I mean, last week he was all right.
Yeah, well, because the Browns stink against the tight end. I mean, like, I think actually I was talking about this today with a buddy of mine at work. I think teams giving it up against the tight end is actually one of the most predictive stats in fantasy. There's a genuine correlation between those things. Anyone else agree with me on that one? Like, I'm saying, like, what do you think?
No, I think bottom of the league.
No, for real.
Right. I think there's kind of a gap to where it's a bit unpredictable, but I'm with you that like there are certainly trends to where teams.
I'm saying like
play different defense to where they are giving up points to the tight end.
4 guys that you can actually rely on, then everybody else you have to stream. So yeah, you have to look at those defenses that give it up to the tight ends, and then.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you have to do, right? Give it up.
Yeah, I know.
Just give it up already.
Just give it up.
D-Bro drops another gem in the chat. He's Burger with the giving it up to tight ends.
Yeah, exactly.
He said that needs to be a shirt.
You have to give it up to tight ends because the tight ends suck.
Roto-Ware, where you at?
Yes, Kenneth.
That's exactly what Chris Allen just said. He said, "Where the Roto-Ware at?"
For real though, we're gonna have to get Kenneth to like make some shirts. First edition.
Give it up to the tight ends.
Well,
give it up to the tight ends.
Their own Roto-Ware at this point.
You do need a Roto-Ware. Where's the open bar Roto-Ware?
Yeah, right.
Well,
get on it.
No.
He needs his own shampoo and conditioner. That's what he needs.
I have a question.
Open
bar shampoo.
Is Tyreek Hill playing this week? It's Thursday game. Is Tyreek Hill playing?
Sounds like it.
It sounds like it, right?
I mean, he wants to.
I think they, I think they want him to as well. So I think he'll play.
But
it
if
sucks
he doesn't,
that the Chiefs are on Thursday.
But if he doesn't, I see what you're doing.
This is what I'm trying to do. If he doesn't, right?
There's a lot of wide receivers on the waiver wire right now.
What is Sammy Walk? Is he gonna play, Sammy?
No,
I think Hill plays over Sammy, if anything.
What about Chris? Okay, so Hill doesn't play, Watkins doesn't play. Are we playing Chris Conley? Because he is definitely available on waiver wire.
We're picking him up if we have a spot on our bench.
Wrong question.
Yes.
The question becomes: Are you playing
defense?
Are you playing Kelvin Benjamin?
Yeah,
Kelvin Benjamin.
That's the real question.
No, that is actually the real question.
He just ate your question.
Oh, I think
he's got to be on Blackish. He's got to be on Blackish. He can't. He doesn't have time.
I think one of my first articles for Dynasty Happy Hour, I read about how Kelvin Benjamin was a buy low. Oh man. He's definitely a buy low now.
Low main.
I'm sorry, that was just funny. But yeah, but that's an interesting point though, Berg, with the Thursday game being Chargers, Chiefs, couple of teams that have a ton of fantasy goodness on them.
And a ton of injuries.
Gordon, hopefully with the bounce back. Obviously Tyreek Hill in question. What are you doing at the running back spot with the Chiefs? What are you doing with the running back spot with the Chargers? Which number 2 wide receiver is going to step up if Tyreek Hill's not there? Which number 2 wide receiver is going to show up for the Chargers? Because typically one of them always do. You just don't know which Williams. There's a ton of questions to answer here. Like, is Antonio Gates going to turn into a statue in the middle of a play? I don't know.
I didn't even know that dude still played.
There's so many questions. I don't know. There's so many questions.
That Thursday night game scares the hell out of me when it comes to fantasy.
I know. It's terrifying. Why did the Chiefs got to play Thursday this week?
It suddenly becomes like a boring game.
But for your fantasy league, I mean, for your fantasy team though, like you've got decisions.
You're biting your fucking fingertips off.
Yeah, you got that first week bye with Tyreek Hill, and all of a sudden you're starting Chris Conley.
J-Mike, you got the ADP up still?
I can, yes, sir.
What I'd love to see Keenan Allen ADP.
Keenan Allen December ADP is what you have a guess before I give it to you?
I would say he's outside of the top 5.
I bet.
Yes, he is outside of the top 10.
10. I was about to say, is he out of 10? 15, 14, 15.
Actually,
14,
wide
15.
receiver 11.
11.
Wow, outside of the top 10.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He
disrespect.
Wow.
Right. So just a quick heads up: Juju and Antonio Brown are both in front of him. Mike Evans is in front of him, and Thielen and Julio, which is understandable. But yeah, Keenan Allen, 11.
I don't know.
11.
I don't know.
That's some good value right there.
I would take him over Adam Thielen. I would take him over Antonio Brown.
I'm simply saying I think it's understandable if you have Thielen in front of him. I don't knock you for that opinion for sure.
No, J Mike.
You don't give me no Mike then.
Died right now, J Mike.
I'm just saying. I don't know. But Keenan's awesome.
Devin, what's your Keenan
I think
Allen
that's
take?
just kind of a big tier right there too. You know, between Thielen.
Devin, are you awake? You fall asleep at the mic?
I have Keenan over all those guys, I think, but they're all close. So
yeah.
The difference between 11 and 7, Mike Evans I would put lower, but it's not egregious. It's not like we can talk about moving a couple of spots like that is like a disrespect exactly. I mean, Phil Rivers isn't going to play forever.
You don't think that Cardale Jones is a trusty replacement?
But
I mean,
the fall off is certainly coming though. They probably think about that. I wouldn't be surprised if they take a quarterback late on one of these guys where the quarterbacks are going to fall late in this draft class, or maybe wait till the next year. Yeah, I could see that being reassessed soon, because I mean Eli certainly fell off quickly. Well, I think he fell off in like 2004, but no one really paid attention.
He fell off and then kind of brought it back, and then
he had 3 TDs last week.
Bro, that game was 40 to nothing. 40 to nothing.
Hey, he had 3 TDs.
That was crazy. 40 to nothing. Shout out to Jake Anderson. Jake early in the chat said, shout out to Josh Johnson being QB3 on the week.
Yeah, exactly.
With 4 possessions.
Yeah, how does it even?
How do you see this chat?
Are you serious? You seriously can't see the chat?
Like YouTube.
No, seriously, I cannot.
Bro, he's fucking with you.
Unless I'm doing it wrong.
It's not real.
No. If I'm doing it wrong, I'm doing it wrong. But I can fucking see the chat. Don't even start with me.
Yeah, Casey is.
I'm all talking.
Casey's got the wine flowing.
I need a fan club for the first lady.
I swear, it's every time we get Casey, she climbs.
She's got to give her time, and it's on.
You gotta give me time. But I'm empty, and nobody's coming up here to fill this out. Makes me nervous.
Okay.
Waiting.
Here's a Tuesday question for you. Is
this
Eckler,
Twitter? Can you
concussion.
wait? Is this your Twitter question?
This is my I'm driving home Twitter question right now.
Okay, could you possibly
Are we-
tweet?
Yes.
Are we are we starting are we starting Justin Jackson with like enthusiastically or because you have no better options? Because Eckler hurt, right? Melvin Gordon hurt.
He might play.
I mean,
Who might play? Melvin?
He was limited. He was limited today.
Yeah, Gordon might come back.
Hey, Berg, let's come right back to that. Devin, quick question. If Melvin Gordon is active, are you and he's
Yeah.
on your team, do you
Yeah,
play
play.
him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
With everything on the line, week 15, semifinals, you're
I mean,
playing.
if you're loaded at running back, sure, I'll start someone else. But if you're talking about some real fringe guys, if you're starting like a Jets running back just because they're gonna play, no, I'm gonna start Melvin Gordon. Yeah.
Elijah, what you doing, boy? No, you can't do that.
And Berg, I'm sorry. What were? Let's come back to what you were talking through. My bad.
Do we feel good about playing him?
No, I don't.
No, you don't
And I
feel
love
good.
Melvin
but
Gordon.
sometimes-
Are you talking about Justin Jackson?
Oh,
Yeah.
Justin, sorry.
or maybe any of them.
But what? Go ahead.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to follow it more closely because Eckler is confusing. Like they said he had a concussion, then they said he didn't. He had the neck stinger, but then they're like, but the neck stinger is really bad, so he's definitely out. I mean, I don't know. I think we need more clarity.
Mm-hmm.
But if they say really definitively that Eckler is out and Gordon will play, but he'll only play certain number of snaps or whatever, then yeah, I think you can just play Jackson and feel fine with it.
Would you play Jackson or Dante Pettis at home against Seattle?
Sounds
Probably
like a personal
Jackson.
question.
Jackson.
Game.
No, what?
I feel like you're gonna start your own like fantasy football like dating website. Like, hey, Justin Jackson, I like long walks on the beach.
Okay, no, but seriously, real quick.
That's some crazy shit.
Okay, Matt Ryan at home against Arizona,
God.
or Lamar Jackson against Tampa Bay.
Ryan, because fuck if I know what's going on. Fucking Baltimore.
J Mike?
No, bro. I love Lamar, which is kind of why it's messed up that you asked me this. But the Cardinals are so trash. Probably the Falcons. I'll probably take Matt Ryan.
Granted at home, but 5 points for Stafford last week.
No, I don't. That doesn't scare me. Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I think you have to start Ryan, but
It's a question for me.
The Bucks were surprisingly good last week.
It's a question.
Surprisingly confident, I should say.
Right. It's a good point. It's a good point.
I'd probably start Matt Ryan. I don't.
Yeah, I mean, he's always been consistent enough where you're like,
No, he's been great. I love Matt Ryan. He's had a
he
great
gets you the
season.
points.
Even though they've sucked. He's like I guarantee he's like a top 5 or 6 fantasy QB. So
According to
the season.
ESPN, he is points per game. Matt Ryan is QB4.
yeah.
yeah,
He's been great.
who would have thought?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, the Cardinals have been great against the QB and just a decent defense all around.
Yeah. Ever improving defense.
I think the running backs are probably going to eat, honestly, if anything here. A Coleman and Ito Smith game. And did I see Brian Hill get some work last week too?
You did. I saw that on I was following it on my ESPN like game Follow app. I was like, they had him in a Browns jersey.
Ouch.
Way to go, ESPN! You're on your game.
Lamar Jackson has a great matchup and everything, but I don't know. It's
I don't.
I think
Here comes Flacco. We're gonna switch you guys out every now and then,
and that's possible too. I think it might be one of those where they might be within like 2 or 3 points of each other, and it might not make a difference.
I agree with you.
That's where I'm feeling.
It's only making me
unless you
regret
lose by
a
1.5.
good
then-
QB with a bad matchup, a mediocre QB with a good matchup. I think they meet in the middle and both have a top 10 to 12 week ish kind of thing.
All right. What about Marlon Mack? What do you guys think about Marlon Mack this week?
I was just about to say,
Hey,
any other
don't
lineup
sweat it,
musings?
Berg. It's just the semifinals, man.
So we're going on his roster or what?
Casey. That's what this whole pod has been about.
I didn't know. It took me an hour and a half to figure it out.
Secretly doing start sits for Berg this whole pod.
I wish I just remembered to do that like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, God, that's
I got a
right.
lot of
I cannot right now.
Just remember 10 minutes ago.
Well, this has been fun. I feel like I have to go soon, so I don't know what. I'm going to Tiki Night, guys. So let's
wrap
it up.
Wrap this up.
Tiki
No,
night? What kind of tiki night? Not one of those ones
Barber.
they do out
No,
in.
My friends are real tiki nuts, and we have fun going out with them. So I have a tiki shirt. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to do a Superman change into a tiki shirt. I could do it right now on air live if that's exclusive you want, but you will have to answer a start sits question for me.
Sis.
This is your last one, Berg. And we're moving on.
I'm just joking. We can talk about anything you want.
Try your own more, Peyton Manning.
Now, is Tiki Night when you just happen to do tiki stuff?
No,
or is it like a non-tiki
no, I'm not
bar.
I'm
It's like
a-
a tiki bar for one
Tiki
night.
Koozie.
No,
It's like
Sunny
the second
Sideway.
Tuesday, the second Tuesday of every month. It's like tiki
Yeah.
night at the bar.
It's like when Gabe has to start the show at 10.
yeah,
That's
exactly.
when Tiki Night is.
Tiki night, yeah.
That's where Gabe's coming from.
You get me. I hope you're going out in your Giants jersey, number 21, as opposed to any sort of floral drink, tiki torch of sorts. Those are dangerous to
No
carry
tiki
around
torches.
nowadays.
Let's not bring this down.
Yeah.
Well, any other last moment playoff musings before we close down the bar? Or week 15 musings.
Well, I did
any
want
musings.
I did want to just quickly I think I'm in like seriously 2 or 3 semifinal matchups this week. And the one that's most important to me is against what's his name?
So important.
He's the guy who he makes all the leagues with the rollover auction thing and
John Bosch?
That's it.
The Bosch.
John Bosch. That guy.
Not enough bankroll content. I agree.
John Bosch. That guy. I'm going up against him this week. So thoughts and prayers for the FF. What did he used to be? He's another one who changed.
Oh, yeah.
Empire.
Empire.
Yeah.
Empire FFL, yeah.
Thoughts and prayers. Empire FFL. So
another
it's too bad that he's got to go down to a team as awful as mine. But
it's okay. He's in like 732 leagues, so I think.
Yeah, he probably doesn't even recognize that one.
Fact.
It is. Yeah. That's fair.
Fact. Yeah.
All right. That's all I've got. I just needed to make that clear that I actually made the semifinals somewhere.
Hey, I'm in one against my fiance, so that'll be fun shit this week.
That
sounds like a lose-lose for you.
She's second, I'm third in that league, and I'm third in that league. I got to play her, and we'll see what happens. That's a win-win because one of us is going to make it to the end for the money. So, like, hopefully. And Katie Flowers in that league too, so she's up against somebody in there. So one of us might get to take her on.
Mrs. AF, what up, Katie?
Hey, that's gotta be soon. We gotta make that happen soon.
Yes, for sure. Devin, any other musings before we?
Yeah, I this is a Scott Fishbowl question.
Oh,
What?
Here we go.
So it's It's super flex, and I lost Andy Dalton,
Mm.
so I have Phil Rivers and I have Cody Kessler. Do
Hmm.
you play Kessler or do you play another position player? I bench Kessler this week, but I probably should have started.
What are the? I mean, I think there's a line. Certainly. What's the? Where are we
Threshold.
at? What are the options?
Let's see. I always
John
I have,
Brown
like,
line because I think John Brown's worth it.
so it always comes down to like Corey Davis, Chris Godwin,
Mm.
or like James White,
Ooh.
or
Oh.
Jeff Wilson.
Oh.
All these sort of,
Why are
that's
we
the line, right?
My name is Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeez. Who is? No, I do know. They're against Washington.
Yeah, they're against
At home?
Washington.
Yeah, it's home against Washington.
I think you roll Kessler. He's gonna throw it. He's gonna be good.
I mean, you saw what the Giants did.
I mean, serious. I mean, like.
I mean, it's a quarterback.
NFL
Jay Mike and I
quarterbacks
are
have to.
totally out of this conversation.
What do they call it? I'm abstaining from.
The Jacksonville crew is probably not too stoked on this conversation right now.
No, Cody. I mean, he was fine last week. He threw for a touchdown. He only turned the ball over once. He had, I think he threw for two something. I can't remember.
You said a particular word there that is exactly how Cody Kessler will be every single week, or worse though. Ceiling is fine.
It's a lot of the quarterbacks right now, though, right? A lot of the quarterbacks are fine right now. Stafford, Cousins, Mariota.
Ceiling
Dot.
is fine.
I think he has a relatively safe floor, though, compared to those other guys who could really stink it up.
I mean, and they're up against the Redskins, who let Eli Manning look like old Eli Manning. I don't know what to tell you. Like Peyton Manning.
Yeah, the wrinkle is that interceptions are, I think, -4 points.
Oh, that's a good point.
I forgot about that. Damn it.
I think you got to sit Kessler.
Yeah. Those other guys you listed aren't going to throw any interceptions. So
I don't know if you're in my conference or not, but yeah, go ahead and play Kessler.
Who are you up against?
J Mike, are you still alive?
Who's still left? J Mike.
I'm still alive. I was number two. I was number 2 in my group last week. So
oh my gosh,
yeah.
Man,
giving this pod some cred.
Yeah, no shit. We actually have something to talk about here.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, go ahead, roll up Kessler, Devin. Do it.
Do what you gotta do.
What's that beer commercial? Fortune favors the bold. Go for it, man.
It's true that you have to. It's like only one advances, I think, from the group of 10. So you got to shoot for the high score.
You're right. You're exactly right.
Damn.
Or I'll pick up Josh Johnson.
Yeah. There you go.
Not if I pick him up first. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh.
Devin, you're like the San Diego Fleet drafting Josh Johnson. No one follows the AAF.
What is that? The AAF? Yeah. Oh, the AAF, not the AF, but the AAF. They got a San Antonio team.
And a Birmingham team. They're going hard.
I'll scoop up some season ticks, J Mike. Come on down. We'll go to an AAF game.
You know,
I'll drive on down. We can all hang out.
Yeah.
Make it a big party.
Down here.
All right. Well, when we're on open mic AAF, we should.
Okay.
Yeah, he's got a tiki party to get to. Let's do.
Which one is?
Let's let them say words and get the heck out of here, Gabe.
All right.
Oh, it's been fun.
Go ahead, Berg. Do it.
I'll do my last musings. I just want to say I'm in a fuck ton of semifinals, and it's because of interacting with
The
people
open bar. Okay.
like on this podcast in the fantasy community. And granted, if you're probably listening, you're probably already in, but tell your friends, tell everyone. This is a great community to be a part of. Everyone is super nice, super smart. Hop in.
Facts.
Word him up. Go check out his show on Netflix coming in. What's the premiere date there?
December 27th, Murder Mountain. Give it a watch.
Boom.
Thank you.
Yes, we will.
And just in case you're counting at home, Bird has 2 more Emmys than Jeff Fisher has NFL titles. I just want that to be known.
Word him up.
2 more Emmys.
They hand out more of those. I've been there, and I can attest to that. So,
Look, I'm just saying your trophy shelf is a lot different than Jeff Fisher's trophy shelf. Am I right?
fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough. Thank you, J. Mike.
Devin,
Yeah.
I know you had a lot to say before, but keep it short this time, and let's get out of here.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, DevinMCI. Check me out at RotoViz. That's about it. Good luck in your playoffs.
Same to everyone.
Thanks for coming on, Devin. I wish we could, I wish we could get into more RotoViz things, because I do find a lot of things on there very interesting in terms of analytics. But thanks for joining us, my man.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Dev.
The first lady.
So,
Hey,
Hey.
salute
salute.
and
Hey.
salute.
Salute.
In a saloon.
And a saloon.
Here come the bars, J Mike. Here I go again. Okay.
Bassoon.
Say.
Mad flows, mad beats.
We got to get together and do
Wrap
a
it up.
little yeah, we got to freestyle. We
Flow,
gotta freestyle
futuristic.
together.
Do it.
Yeah, the futuristic flow. It's real.
For sure.
But,
Hey, look,
what
Khalid
do you-
is here.
Is he coming?
Well, you see him. You
Oh,
can see him.
yeah, J Mike. Yeah, the J Mike from last week, right? The Khalid. Khalid. look,
Khalid.
No, thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
You're Fighting Chance Fantasy.
Fighting Chance Fantasy. Hit me up on Twitter at the Casey Kasem, KACEY KASEM. We can hang out and be cool homies.
Yeah, making a name for the fantasy footballers of the women variety.
The women, the ladies, get that
Yeah.
round table
Represent.
going on with all of
Yeah.
our
Women are
awesome-
smarter than
awesome
men,
women.
so I'm sure their
100.
addition will only bring more knowledge.
I mean,
100.
it is what it is.
I like that.
You know.
It's I'd kind of prefer it is what it is versus it's fine coming out of my wife's mouth. It is what it is, and I'll be like, oh shit, okay. We're good. It's fine. No. No. All right. Grab the shovel. J Mike.
I'm just really hoping that I don't hop into bed later tonight and my wife rolls over and just says, the ceiling is fine.
Oh,
Cody Kessler's ceiling is fine.
The ceiling is fine. John Michael, just go to bed.
It's your neighbor.
As always, thank you all so much for joining us here on the Open Bar this evening. To our guests, thank you guys very much. Devin, great to meet you, even though I've not seen your face, just a dog smoking. I still appreciate you very
I
much.
want to know.
I want to know too.
It's all
The people
Jabberwock.
have the people have a right, Devin. Casey, thank you. Berg,
Always.
thank you. I'll be talking.
No,
to
thank you guys.
to the first lady, of course. We appreciate you. To everyone in the chat, thank you guys so much for joining us. The chat was lit tonight. It was crazy.
J Mike, do they come in to watch the show, or do they just come in to talk to each other? That's one question I have about the
They can't because of me. What are you talking about?
besides Casey.
As someone who's participated in the chat, at a certain point, you do forget you guys, and you're just in the chat.
Talking to each other.
Yeah, the chat is always
That's
lit.
good. That's good.
Yeah, it's fun times.
In the immortal words of Derek McCreath, aka the FFRX, he said that we are the center point that brings fantasy together. So I'm glad we can be background noise for you guys when you're getting
You're just going to a Russ Dynasty Outhouse little.
It's kind of what it is.
Yeah, for real. Aton, I see you. I appreciate you, brother. Aton hit us with a Debbie.
Did he really had a Debbie question? Like we were gonna know?
Go ahead, I'll know.
He also said, "Ready the couch, Casey."
No,
I've already started watching Debbie tape.
You didn't hear me. You didn't hear me. Aton hit us with a Debbie.
Oh,
Debbie.
Debbie. Look. Look.
Don't. Okay, Aton. Stephanie, have a good night, darling. We appreciate you. And everyone checking us out on podcast form, obviously wherever it may be, with Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Podbean, Spotify. Hey, we're on Spotify. Mama made it. Yeah, wherever you are, please check us out. Tell a friend. Have them come join us at the bar for one or two. And again, thank you all very much if you're listening to this in whatever form, taking the time, take an hour plus to chop it up with your boys from the bar. So with that being said, you can find me on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. You can find the show's handle at The Open Bar FP, as in fake pigskin. What up, Jared? What up, Kyle? And my main man, Gabe Gearing on Twitter, which one of these days it will be at the Gearing of all time. But until then,
Just give me
it's
16 characters. What is it? 15? Get fuck Twitter.
Until then, he's at FF Manbun. Gabe, take us home.
Man, I don't know how you remember all those handles. It's good. One of these days, you're just gonna you're gonna have all the guest handles every time. This is gonna be your show eventually. And by you, and when I say that, I already mean that it is, but I'm just kind of here saying it, reciprocating as if you're giving the show to me, but I'm just giving it back to you, and then
I cannot disagree more vehemently. Vehemently.
It's been great. It's been a good night, a good evening of football conversation. I have nothing really more to add other than we're figuring out how the heck we are going to get out some wubba lubba chub chub t-shirts to y'all. We have some people words. We have some people signed up for those, and we're gonna get them to you. We just don't exactly know how yet, but he's like top. I mean, he's not going anywhere in terms of relevance, it looks like. So don't you worry. It's going to be a good shirt to wear no matter what. Yeah. Tyler Gunth, he was in there earlier. I dropped an intro for Dynasty Happy Hour for them. I had a lot of fun writing that one and doing that one. It's one of my favorites that I've done. There, J Mike, speak some words.
Bars. You were in your bag for that new intro. Bars. You killed it. Speaking of killing it, you also killed it with the t-shirt. Here it is. If you haven't been able to had a chance to see it, you can find it pinned on Gabe's Twitter page. Check it out.
Great.
Indeed.
You want to support the show? You want to show some love to us?
I need one.
Wubba lubba chub chub on. Check him out. Check it out.
Don't be the last person to get one of these shirts. Don't be that person, even though it's,
Deborah.
How do you
Debbie,
right. Don't be a Debbie
down there.
Berg's like, okay, we're about to talk for an hour.
We need to go.
All right. Hey, put your drinks up. Oh, he already left. Put your drinks up, people.
Thank you.
Appreciate y'all. Devin, I hope that you are putting a drink up of sorts with us. And J Mike, we're gonna see him next week, right? We're not at holiday times yet.
Not just yet.
Good.
Well, at least
Good.
one more.
At least one more. At least for 2018. We're good. We're gooch. Good luck in your semifinals. We will see y'all next week. And a big ol' deuces to you.